Okay, I kind of screwed up the last video and I gave you the wrong email at first, but then I gave you the right one. So the email to send me questions is mjmtucson, TUCSONAZ @AOL.com. Okay, so now let's start with chapter 1. And chapter 1 is about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. This is your entire nervous system, the autonomic nervous system. And why is that important? Well, the sympathetic nervous system is what keeps you alive. It keeps your heart and your brain functioning correctly, breathing, all that good stuff. It also activates your fight or flight or freeze response. So that's really important because when our ancestors were out running around, there was dangerous stuff all around all the time, and now there's dangerous stuff around all the time. And so our sympathetic systems need to work correctly and accurately and not overreact. And everybody hates that term. It's like, oh, you're overreacting. Well, but you know, actually that's what we're doing when we are in situations that aren't threatening our life, but we act like we're seeing a great white shark or a bear or something come in our direction. And I'm sure you've all been there. I have, for sure. Sometimes our system can't slow down enough to kind of see what's really going on. And maybe it's reacting to something that happened from the past that was bad. And so part of what I do as a therapist is I help people understand when they're making good responses, because that's what we'd rather have, responses than reactions. And how it works is your sympathetic nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, let's start there, is when the brain, you have the left side and the right side, and that's my left side and my right side. And the two hemispheres have kind of almost like a part down the middle, and the blood flow crosses over from the left to the right when we are feeling good, when we're in our parasympathetic nervous system. When we get hungry, angry, lonely, tired, scared, triggered, it goes like this. So the left side is our logical side of our brain, and the right side is the emotional side of our brain. And when we get excited somehow, good or bad sometimes, the blood flow shifts. So the logical side can't communicate with the emotional side, and that's where we get into trouble. And we have reactions that probably these sometimes aren't the best. So the sympathetic system's the black or white area of our brain. We can only think very simply: black, white, right, wrong, good, bad. We judge a lot, which isn't good. Judgy thinking is distorted thinking, and I'll cover that later. Because there's a whole lot of in between there that we're going to miss because our brain can't function like that when we're that stimulated. So that's what reactivity is. And so reactivity causes most of the health problems we're having, even with the coronavirus. If you are a very reactive person and you're getting upset about a lot of stuff during this time, you're going to stress your immune system out, and heart disease and lung disease and things like, you know, viruses, stuff like that can take you out a lot faster than it would have had you been a little calmer. I'm not blaming you. I get it. Believe me, I'm right there with you. I have to work on my You could ask people who know me. I have to work on my reactivity because, you know, I have been in some situations that were dangerous, and so sometimes I will have a heightened reaction to something. So it's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. This is just our bodies. That's how they work. But we do want to try to calm that system down. And in chapter 2, I'm going to give you a lot of tools and skills on how to do that. Before, though, I want to give you a homework assignment. So again, it's the left side is the logical side, the right side's the emotional side of our brain, and the two can't talk if that blood flow is shunted. So I want you to, for homework, for this little chapter part, I want you to think about the most distressing problems that you have right now, the ones that are causing you discomfort, like difficult feelings or thoughts, conflicts, things like that. So I want you to write down all what these problems are. And there's at least 7 solutions to every problem, but we can't think that way when we're upset. So I want you to start writing down what solutions are to these problems that you're having. And they can't all be really great solutions. I mean, I would love it if the solutions were, would you like, $1 million in gold or silver? But that's not how life works. A lot of times the solutions or the choices we have are, would you like 1 shit sandwich or 2? So there's still good choices to be made. They're not our favorite ones. They're not ones that we want to have, but this is how we lead ourselves through life in a better way, is we try to pick the most optimal choices that we can make in different situations. So write down what those problems and feelings are, and we're going to work on them later in the next chapter.